All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging deep into a huge fan theory, one that's predicting a tragic end for one of the biggest characters in movies right now.
So, this is the big one, isn't it? The question that's got the entire internet buzzing. Will Pushpa, the king of the syndicate, actually die in the final movie? Well, as you're about to see, the answer is complicated. Now, this whole theory really comes from a classic, tried-and-true storytelling formula, the tragic gangster trope. You know it, you've seen it with legends like Tony Montana or Michael Corleone. The higher they climb, the more dramatic the fall. So is Pushpa just going to follow that same legendary and lethal path? Okay, so first up, let's actually build the case for a tragedy. We're going to look at all the evidence that points to Pushpa Raj's story ending on a, well, very dark note. There are a few things that really seem to be pointing in this direction. For one, you've got the director, Sukumar. He is famous for these emotional gut punches and tragic twists in his films. Then there's just, karma. In stories like this, criminals usually have to face the music. And let's be honest, from a pure storytelling perspective, his death would be a massive, unforgettable way to end the saga. And you have to remember, this isn't just business anymore. Not after The Rule. Pushpa didn't just beat Banwar Singh, he completely humiliated him. So for Banwar, revenge isn't just about winning now. It has to be about total annihilation. That really sets the stage for a final showdown, where, let's face it, only one of them is walking away. But here's a thought. What if Pushpa's death isn't just an end? What if it's also a new beginning? There are these rumors flying around about his son being introduced. His death could be this huge symbolic act, paving the way for the next generation to take over the empire. Passing the crown, so to speak.
But hold on, let's not close the case file just yet, because the arguments for Pushpa's surviving are just as powerful. There's a really compelling case to be made for the king getting to keep his throne.
And this is where it gets really interesting. You've got this classic clash between a tragic story and, well, commercial reality. Killing a character this famous, this beloved around the world, is a huge risk. You could tick off a whole lot of fans. But if you keep him alive, the door is wide open for sequels, spin-offs, a whole Pushpa universe. And we have to talk about the numbers for a second, because they really tell a story. Over 1,000 crore. That's not just a hit movie, that's a full-on cultural phenomenon. That number means millions and millions of fans are emotionally invested in this guy's journey. And from a business standpoint, killing him off is a massive, massive gamble. But maybe, just maybe, there's an even better story to tell. One that isn't about Pushpa dying, but about him living. Think about it. A future where his own son rises up to challenge him, to take the empire he built. A father versus son conflict? That could be way more heartbreaking and complex than just another shootout with an old enemy. Which leads us to a third possibility. What if this isn't a simple live or die situation? What if the writers are cooking up a twist that completely changes the game? The filmmakers could totally mess with our heads here, right? What if we get a symbolic death, where Pushpa fakes the whole thing and just disappears to live a quiet life? Or maybe the classic fake-out, where we see him die, and then, bam, post-credit scene, he's alive. Or what if he really does die, but his death immediately kicks off his son's story as the new lead? Any of those would be an incredible twist. So, we've looked at the arguments for death, the arguments for survival, and all the wildcard twists in between. I think it's time to put all the evidence on the table. So, here it is, laid out plain and simple. In one corner, you've got all the reasons for a classic, tragic ending. The director's style, the story's logic. In the other corner, you have the raw power of the fan base and the potential for a huge franchise. And right in the middle, you have all these clever writing tricks that could give us a bit of everything. Each one is a totally plausible but completely different future for Pushpa. Ultimately, the evidence is pretty much split right down the middle. The real answer is one of the biggest mysteries in movies right now. The filmmakers are the only ones who know for sure, and they're leaving us all to wonder. What's the real final chapter for the man who promised he would never, ever bow down?